Do you guys remember the early days of Instagram? I mean, we're talking back when it was just like feed post. Eventually, Snapchat came along, made stories, Instagram copied it. And then TikTok came along and made TikToks. And of course, we got Reels. And then Instagram decided to go all in on that short form video stuff to make Reels. And they took photographers like myself or others and basically buried us deep down in the algorithm. So we couldn't even have our photos reach people unless they were in the form of Reels. I've really never taken Instagram super serious as a photographer because I focus more on my website always. And what I have found through Instagram has always been community, not so much like brand deals and influencer stuff. No desire for influencer stuff. But we can all acknowledge that for photographers, Instagram basically became a huge hot mess. Now, thankfully today, I feel like the pendulum has swung back the other way some. I mean, like a year ago, people were trying to hop on Vero, or they were moving over to Twitter to post everything before Elon Musk took it over. And then there's apps like Glass, or I don't know, there's a bunch of them out there. But nothing has ever really struck a chord and landed with like longevity. So back during all this drama, I think it was like last year or earlier this year even, I began to get wind of an app in development called Foto. And when I saw a demo of this app on their website, it looked like the early days of Instagram. And then I read their promise, which is to let you see the post of people you actually follow, to give you control over your experience within the app, to reinforce that images are important and powerful, to loosen the rules of censorship, to innovate how social apps sustain themselves without pushing ads in your face, to be transparent about how and why we make certain decisions, to support the arts and create new income streams for creatives, and to value the mobile and web experience equally. I'm gonna be straight up with you. This sounds like a dream app for photographers. So what I did was I reached out to the developer, the founder, and I asked him if we could chat about this app because this week the private beta is launching and we would love to invite you into the private beta, and you can get that information right below. But before you do that, let's see what the founder of this app, Michael Howard, has to say. All right, what's up, Michael Howard? How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, excited to have you here. And just so all you that are watching, Michael is from the Nashville area. He's been working on this photo app for how long have you been working on the app?
About a year.
About a year now. Are you full time with it or is it just like a side hustle?
So there's two of us. There's me and a co-founder. I run a fine art print lab here in Nashville.
Oh, nice.
And then so that's I would say the full time, but I'm not a developer. So my co-founder, he's doing all the development and everything. So I'm kind of handling more of the vision and marketing and pretty much everything else.
Well, it's working because your marketing and vision have me like completely hooked and curious as to where this app is going to go. I'm super excited about it. So at the beginning of this video, I shared a little bit of your homepage, your landing page, and some of like what you guys are hoping to deliver on. And I'd love to just jump into that and start though by asking you like there are I don't know hundreds of apps that have come and gone over the years. I feel like, and maybe hundreds is an exaggeration, but it definitely feels like there have been so many apps for photographers taking maybe the Instagram model when it was at its peak and replicating it. I remember one from I think it was from the UK called Ello that got some traction. Then Vero last year was like blowing up. And I mean, can you share with us maybe a little bit about the need for another photo app?
Yeah, I think it's kind of come and gone right through the past decade. And Instagram has been so huge and influential for so long that breaking through that kind of infrastructure and the network effects of that was almost impossible. So, but I do feel like we're at a different point now, especially 2021 when they came out and they're basically like, we're not a photo sharing app anymore, and we're going full video essentially, and have leaning heavily into short form video, competing with TikTok. Officially announcing they're really there. People use Instagram for entertainment purposes and kind of messaging. there's really nothing about it anymore that is about photography. That I mean, they really don't care about photography at this point. They're just trying to sell ads and get your attention. So they will do literally anything to keep you on the app as much as possible. None of those incentive structures are going to drive people or drive the company to, promoting photography and really building solutions for photographers.
Yeah, I've seen a few apps dedicated for photographers that have come out over the last few years. One of them in particular, I did join, and I even like paid their annual fee just to, I was out of curiosity to take a look. And when I got in there, it was like a lot of other photographers trying to be discovered. And what I thought was interesting was like photographers marketing to photographers. It never felt like it was like the home that everyone wanted to be in. It
Right.
felt almost like what made Instagram work early on was it enabled like anybody with the phone to take a photo, throw a filter on it, and get like an arty look, and then post it. And I think
Mhm.
Instagram developed in like a passion for photography in a lot of people, which was
Right.
really cool early on. And now, of course, Instagram is not our ally anymore. It is completely bailed on all the photographers, but and even those that it created photographers and then bailed on them. But
Mhm.
talk to me maybe about like how Foto, how your app, like what is like, are you trying to just like collect photographers into it, or is it an app for everybody, kind of like it was in the early days of Instagram to kind of empower everybody to take photos and post them?
Yeah, so this is kind of a little bit into like the marketing strategy and everything like that. I mean, a photo will definitely be for everybody. So anybody that likes photography wants to share photos or pictures or images online, we'll be able to do that through Photo. There'll be a free, so they can just create an account. There'll be zero barrier for entry. They can get on and just share and post. We're focusing a little bit early on in the marketing and stuff with photographers and artists, maybe a little bit more in the kind of professional sense. But long term, obviously, we want it to expand beyond that. That's kind of one of the challenges and problems we're going to have to solve is kind of expanding beyond just photographers because it doesn't really benefit anybody if it's just a photographer water cooler. Like we do not want to build that at all. But the people that are going to adopt it first are probably going to be the photographers. So it's a bit tricky to start there and then expand past that. But that's definitely the goal. And we hope through just the ease of use and zero barrier for entry and just the features and things we're building that it'll be more accessible to everybody that tries it for the first time.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I mean, like I remember, like I was shooting. I got into photography like in high school, which is in the late '90s, and then I don't know, like a decade later, I remember. I think it was around 2011, I believe, is whenever Instagram came out. I know this because I remember when I downloaded the app, I took a picture of my laptop when I downloaded the app to my laptop to transfer it to my phone through the cable. Like you remember the old like you had to
Yeah.
plug it into iTunes stuff. And I
Right.
have a screen. I have like a photo I took, and I was like trying this app out, and it's a 2011, and I'm pretty sure Instagram came out around that time. And I think about like how oh my god, like it was like so cool now to be able to like to shoot to see what other people were shooting, and it really inspired me, and it got me shooting more than just like family portraits and like people. It got me shooting outdoors and landscape, and then like traveling to cool places for that same reason. Do you see like a resurgence of that energy? Like, is that something you guys kind of want to capture in people again? Because the going from like I do photography, but wow, like super inspired now. Like, what role do you see inspiration or like the app playing in like inspiring other photographers?
What I would love for it to do is to inspire people to engage with photography in the best way, in the best version of what photography is, which is connecting us to our memories, things that are like important in our lives, our milestones, but also just if you're the type of person that wants to communicate visually, creating empathy, giving a voice to people that maybe can't speak for themselves, and really hopefully maybe recapture some of the stuff that I fell in love with photography with in the first place. I went to college and got my BFA in photography and really fell in love with like the art of photography and people that were using photography as an art form to kind of tell stories of the world, to bring those stories to other people and just to make change in the world. And so I really want to bring that type of energy back into photography and not make it about selfies and like trying to look like idealized and having this perfect life and all that stuff that kind of Instagram generated. It's more of looking back at the history of photography and pulling from the core of why it's been so important for 200 years and why people continue to engage with it. Bring it more, hopefully take it away a little bit from like the content side of like we're just creating content on this hamster wheel of social media to where we can slow down a little bit, and that what you do post a photo hopefully will have a longer shelf life. I think there's such a permanence with photography when done correctly that has gotten lost, and we need to bring some of that back to where you want to revisit photos should be printed, celebrated, lived with, just a lot of things like that can be built upon and touched upon and worked through.
Yeah, I love the purity and all that of the art. Yeah, because like when you were talking about like the word content is like a trigger word for me because I'm not a content creator. You know what I mean? It's like I hate it when I
Right.
see like, oh, I'm gonna create some content. Like number one, I'm not an ad. Number two, not everything I make is for the purpose of being an ad. Like it
Right.
drives me crazy, and so I love the purity associated with like the memory making or capturing a moment and speaking up for people that don't have a voice. Like there's so much purity in that, and I really appreciate about what you're building because like we need that voice. Like Instagram brought us a culture of narcissism. It would be a shame if a new app on the scene just further made people narcissistic. And I'm
Right.
glad to hear that you guys have a purity in your mind about where you want this app to go. So let's fast forward. Let's take it.
Yeah.
You have the private beta coming up, but we're gonna go past that now. The app is launched, and you're a year down the road. What
Okay.
is your dream? What does your dream look like? You've launched, and you're a year in.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, we have some sort of sustainable profit plan in place. It's not ad based because we don't want to be advertising based. So, but we also don't want to get just sucked into like Silicon Valley and like investor land with the wrong people.
That's how you
They're
become
gonna,
ad based is getting sucked into
yeah,
that
they're
stuff. Because
right. It's gonna
I
pull.
live here in Silicon
Yeah.
Valley, and I
Okay.
totally get it.
Yeah, so that's a very tricky, slippery slope that we could get pulled in the wrong direction if we kind of tie the company to the wrong people, or the wrong investment firms. So yeah, I think for us, we're in this for the long term. So we're not trying to become some overnight success. I think for us, I think in a year, if we can build an app that doesn't feel like it's missing a ton of stuff at our foundation level, and that we're at a healthy place where it's sustainable and we can really start innovating on top of the foundation, I'll be really, really happy. Because I think what we're building at first is going to feel very familiar to people in terms of that kind of OG Instagram type vibe. But really, that's just like a connection point we're building because people are familiar with it. And there's a low barrier of entry doing it that way. And then that's stable, that's where we get to start really like innovating and pushing it beyond that. Kind of where I feel like Instagram could have taken it, but they didn't. So I kind of want to rewind the clock a little bit and then take a different path and see where that heads, for us.
So let's talk for a minute about the private beta because that launches in just a few days. Like by the time people are watching this video, it's either about to
Yeah.
be live or it's going to be live soon, or it has been live for a little while. What are you looking for or looking to accomplish in the private beta that's launching?
Yeah. So private beta for us is going to be very important because we've had a few people on Photo. Is kind of like an alpha testing, but having 1,000 plus, 1,000 to 5,000 people will really kind of stress test what we've built, and it'll helpfully just give us a lot of feedback on what's missing, where we need to improve, what we need to be better at, and just kind of get a general sense of maybe we're missing something, or maybe those people or see something that we're not thinking of right now. So we're going to be listening to all our users, but for us, it's just to get feedback, iterate, make it better, and then make it more of like a public beta, hopefully in maybe 1 to 2 months from
Oh
now.
wow, that's pretty quick. That's awesome.
It depends on how it goes, but the more people we can get on and get feedback, the better.
What are you looking for like right now? I mean, obviously, people watching this video, they may want to like get on this platform as soon as possible, whether that's in the private beta or maybe they're watching it a year from now and they want to download the app. Like for right now, though, in this season, what can someone do to get into the private beta?
Yeah, so it's just me and one co-founder. So it's just a team of two basically. And so we're very small. We're essentially bootstrapping it. So right now it's just a one-time fee, like basically throw us $5, buy us a cup of like, cheap coffee at this point.
Just put some skin in the
And
game. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, and then you get on the email list, and then we'll email you the instructions basically of how to get access to it, because it's not going to be on the app store or anything yet publicly. You won't be able to find it. You won't be able to find it. So we have to email it to you and give you instructions. We have Android users testing it now and Apple users testing it now, and it's been great. So that's probably the reason it's taken us a year, because instead of just going straight to Apple, we're doing both at the same time. But yeah, just photoapp.co/beta is all the information.
Cool. And so everybody that's watching, there's a link below in the description. If you click over to that, you can get information on the beta. And if you're watching this like 2 years after we filmed this, then go to the App Store and download it. It'll be there. All right. Well, Michael, thanks so much for sharing about Foto. And everyone watching, be sure to click the link below, check out the beta or download the app and see what you think. I'm personally really excited about it and can't wait to see how this develops. And I might try to get my username early as well, because I gotta lock that down.
That's awesome. Thank you for having me. This has been
Yeah. All right, Michael. Thanks a lot, man.
all right. Appreciate it.